What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. It is Friday. It's 1 p.m. 1:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I am live on Twitter and YouTube. And this is going to be a quick video today. Just a couple things I wanted to point out. Something I totally forgot to do yesterday that I'm going to do. And first thing I want to address here is the Murder of Crows.io NFT collection. The policy has been stopped. It is over. The NFTs aren't over, but minting new ones is no longer possible. The site will be updated today. Now, if you want to get your own Murder of Crows NFT, you're going to have to get them on the secondary market. Basically, out of a 10,000 NFT collection, I think I can't remember how many of the gold versions, like the gold. I'm not sure if all of those were minted or not. I'm thinking 6 out of 10 were minted. So those are done. Like if you got one, great. If you didn't, I mean, you waited too long. I think about 5,000. I think about half of them sold through over the last year. So 4 or 5 of the 10 of 10 were minted. So basically about half of the NFTs across the board. And I will give you a quick Apex Fusion update, as a matter of fact. You might have to remind me. But anyway, so yeah, now if you want a Murder of Crows as your very own, you're going to have to pull them off of the secondary market, JPEG store, that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, we'll see where they go. Like, do people really start collecting them now on the secondary market? I mean, basically half of the whole collection is minted. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Whatever it is, it is. I think at some point everybody's going to want one. So we'll see, because I know a lot of people are buying multiples, and knowing that there's only like 5,000 of them, that may or may not be a good thing. I don't know, because some of the stuff that I do have kind of planned in the back of my head, I might, there might be a need for more of those, but we'll see. But yeah, congrats to everybody that got one. Thank you all for your support. And it really does mean a lot to me. And to see everybody using these as their avatars on Twitter and on Telegram and all over the place, it's just really cool to see. There's probably, I don't see any in chat at the moment, but I'm sure there will be. And I love to see it. So thank you guys. As the sponsored segment that I didn't do yesterday because I'm a doofus and I got so hot-headed and so wired. This is Kryptonomy. There's a link in the description, along with the the disclosure, the disclaimers, and all of that stuff. This is part 2 of a paid segment. They paid like $4,400 roughly. It's all down below. ADA. I try to have people pay in Cardano nowadays. But this is basically like, they do a lot of different things. They're like an incubator for different websites, different blockchain companies. This is their launch pool. And ultimately, you can potentially stake crypto and generate yields off of what a lot of these launchpad tokens are able to generate in value as they launch their projects and things. Now, I don't know much about the company. I'm not necessarily like an endorser, but they did pay me to basically share the fact that they exist. It is what it is. Always do your own deep dive research and to make sure that everything is legit. Don't dive into stuff that you don't fully understand either, because there are always little nuances and things that can catch you. But this is the platform. I'm logged in, and this is basically like, if you were wanting to get involved, let's say you're wanting to stake to a particular launchpad token or something like that. You think, hey, I really like the project. I know about this. I think it's probably going to do well. And then you want to delegate or stake some Bitcoin or whatever. It's pretty simple. I mean, they wanted me to show the deposit process. Once you log in your dashboard, you say, okay, well, I've got some Bitcoin. I can hide small balances or what, but maybe I've got Ethereum and I want to work with Ethereum. I just click deposit and it brings up this Ethereum address. boom, and then that's it. And then I just send it to that address. I wait for it to confirm, and it's in. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's really simple. Making deposits into stuff like this is pretty simple. To my knowledge, I don't know if there's any kind of AML, KYC. I don't know. I don't know if they would. I don't know if you classify this as an exchange more than like it's like a yield farming platform, in my opinion, like from what I've seen from it. But and then the withdrawal, if you know, like you've staked and you made a little money maybe, and like whatever the situation is, you want what's left, and you just basically paste your address in there, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, I mean, check it out if you're interested. It's you know, it's definitely not something that I think is for everyone, but if you're into like yield farming and, as I would consider, kind of treasure hunting for yield, cool, you know, maybe check it out. But yeah, there you go. That's cryptonomy.finance. And yeah, there you go. Crypto trader loses $70.5 million in address poisoning scam, highest recorded yet. This is a really big deal. And the scam operations that are going on in crypto, maybe we're not seeing them in as much abundance as normal, but they're getting better, and they're just getting more and more clever, and it scares the hell out of me. Blockchain security firm Cyverse Alert reported that an unnamed crypto trader lost 1,155 wrapped Bitcoin, equivalent to $70.5 million, to address poisoning. And basically what this is about is, you know, when you're making a crypto transaction, depending on what platforms you're on, you know, there are a lot of fake sites. There are a lot of like carbon copy clones of different wallet companies, and just all the, basically, if it exists, it can be cloned. And they clone it, and they do everything in such a way that maybe one letter is off on the URL, or you know, whatever, right? And they lead you to believe that you're on a legitimate platform, but you're not. And what they do is in some instances, you'll go to send a transaction, and they are able to basically, you know, typically when you make a transaction, you're confirming basically the beginning and the end, because, you know, it's like those two are the most difficult to, you know, the likelihood of you getting the same start and the end is supposed to be really difficult to reproduce, but they're doing that now. And so now you really have to go through some of these addresses in long form and make sure that they are the same as the intended address, because they can flip the script on them. And I know that there are ways that they've been doing this for a while, where, you know, you go to maybe you have some sort of malware on your computer, and then when you go and you're trying to paste an address into your send bar of whatever wallet you're using, and it'll flip that address without you realizing it, so that it's going to another wallet. You have to be extremely diligent in crypto, and you have to really be careful. The way I've done videos on like security. I've shown pictures of my screens. Like I do all kinds of like research. I do real estate research. I do I do so many different things where I'm trying to like, I'll look at different properties, and like, what's the value of this property over that property? What's changing in this market and that market? For a while, I was interested in doing Airbnbs, and, you know, and I'll try to do like different research on, you know, properties, obviously cryptos. I do all kinds of stuff. But the one thing that I don't do is I don't do anything real or serious on these computers, right? So, because if I'm browsing the web a lot, I don't do anything significant as it relates to crypto or any like financial transactions. I don't do them on those computers. I have other computers, some of which are not even here, because I'm paranoid as hell. But what I do is, if I'm going to do crypto transactions, especially large ones, I do them in secure environments online. I don't do any web browsing whatsoever on those computers. And basically everything that I do on those systems is very, very point A to point B. I don't meander. I don't wander around. I don't click random links or random things. Even if basically nothing. I don't do anything on those computers that I rely on to maintain security for crypto transactions, because of stuff like this. because there can be changes happening to your computer that you just don't know, and you don't see, there aren't any signs or anything. So if you're, especially when you get into a position, and I also don't do anything on my phone. I have multiple phones and I don't do any crypto transactions on those phones. I mean, I've done some small ones, like experimenting things or like testing something out or something like that, but nothing that actually matters, because what if you lose your phone? What if somebody steals your phone? What if you get SIM ported, which has happened to me, which is one of the reasons why I'm so paranoid nowadays and have been for years. There's just so much stuff that can be going on behind the scenes that you're not aware of, and it gets scary. So, if somebody who's trading $70 million worth of wrapped Bitcoin can get scammed, you can too. And he obviously, or she, didn't know what was happening. I can't imagine the horror of something like that. Truly, I feel terrible for this individual or group, even whoever it was. It's just disgusting. But luckily, there are things, a lot of us want to say, screw the SEC and screw the government and this and that. But, I will tell you that, take politics out of it. These groups do have ways of tracking a lot of this stuff. And I know of one big case that was public, and for whatever reason, and I've talked to the person individually, and apparently I think the FBI and some special group that they had was able to track down every bit of what happened and recover it. So I don't know why. I don't know why it wasn't a public thing. I know the loss was public, but apparently the recovery wasn't. And I don't know if it's maybe they don't want people to know that they can catch you. But here's the thing. It's the same way with taxes, folks. And I know that some of you guys and gals, you're like, man, what's wrong with Crow? He's totally against the machine. But then he tells us this. Listen, here's the thing that I always try to push on people. I want everyone to do really well in crypto. I want everybody to change their lives. I want us all to do well, regardless of blockchain preference or what. I feel like everything is so polarized anymore. Everything is so disgusting nowadays, and it's so toxic. And it's like, you know what? Who gives a real shit? I want everyone to do well, but you can't spend money in jail. Like, you can't. It's like if you try to, I made $100,000 on this crypto, I'm not paying the taxes on it, I earned this. Well, you know what? They are tracking all that, and I don't really care what public knowledge is available in terms of like where they can check and what they can see and all of that. Just assume they know. I'm telling you right now, just assume the government knows that you're making that kind of money, because whether it's today or tomorrow. I mean, just saw the thing with Roger Ver. I mean, I haven't even read the whole story, and I know that he had a history, like he got in trouble years and years ago for selling fireworks, I guess, illegally in some state. I've watched him tell that whole story, and it sounds ridiculous. But apparently now he's been picked up for avoiding taxes. I'm assuming it's because he lives somewhere outside of the U.S. and he's like, I'm not paying U.S. taxes, and maybe he didn't become a citizen of where he was staying. I don't know how all that stuff works. But it's all sad. And it's like, I want everyone to do well and stay well. I don't want you to do well and then you try to play games with your taxes. You get caught up and then you just losing it all anyway. I mean, it's just not worth it. Pay the tax man. If you don't want to pay the U.S. tax man, then get the hell out of the country and, become a citizen there. I think about it. I thought about it. I doubt I'm going to do it. I'm just too old. I just kind of have to take it and let the young people, I feel like the young people today are so brainwashed and clueless. It's like, I can't rely on them either, but I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to share the message here. Like, you have to be really crazy. Don't be lazy when dealing with your crypto, and just pay your taxes and stay out of trouble. Looking at Bitcoin currently, we are in a bit of a reversal, and I know that this looks good right now, but I'm not. Yeah. I mean, this is nothing. If anything, I see us bouncing off of this and continuing to the downside. Maybe we come up, bounce again. I really don't think that we're going to get a true reversal in price to the upside on a long term. And this is just basic TA, folks. I'm not getting into 30 different things and try to fill my charts up with a bunch of confusing bullshit. So you have to rely on, like, you got to come watch me tomorrow so I can decipher this other line of bullshit. Like, it's whatever. I think we're going to bounce off of this, and we're not going to bounce off of it till the end of the month. That's what I think. And until then, we're probably going to stay, and we're going to create this channel, and that's it. It's pretty simple. I don't see us going anywhere. I know that if the price gets back to $70,000 in the short term, I think there's something like, I don't know what it was, like $20 billion or 11 billion, maybe it was 100 billion. I don't remember what it was. Billions of dollars are going to be liquidated if the price were to somehow pump back up to 70 grand. So, we'll see, but I don't see that happening. I'm still in my trade though. I'm down $6,500 on this trade, and boy, that sucks. But I've watched this go. I watched it break even at one point. I'm like, should I get out? I'm like, nah. And then it just took a hard tank. But my liquidation was so low at 47.7 that I'm like, if we get that low, that's really going to suck. But I've definitely, I earned it. If I got liquidated at 47,000, I earned it because I've been riding it all the way. And it is what it is. So yeah, that's it. Everybody needs to be safe, man. Don't play games with the taxes. Do things the right way. Get your LLC or your S corp. Do the things that you can do. But to try and avoid it entirely, it's just not going to happen. And the same goes with the cons and the scams and the poisonings and the phishing schemes and all of this stuff, man. It's just dark, and they exist, and they're greedy, and they're people from all over the country doing this kind of stuff. And honestly, where the state we're at now, I read this paper, and I'm going to touch on, I'm not going to go deep into it, but I had this document from like 2010, and it was basically breaking down like the four phases of it's like the four phases of the future. And I don't know how much I can say about that, but basically, the one phase is concluded. We all know what that was. And it was basically very well thought out, drawn out, and simulated in this document from the Rockefeller Foundation. And then the second phase was cyber stuff. And I see that ramping up all over. The narrative for cyber attacks has just been ramping up all over the place. And based off of, if what happened in like 2020, 2021, all that, if all of that is a measure of how accurate this document is, we're in for some really dark shit. And it's scary, man. And I don't think anyone's going to be untouched by it. But I feel like, to some extent, a lot of what's going on in places like California and a lot of these other places, I feel like it's all being torn down to be rebuilt in a new way under new systems. That's what I think personally, because you can't really make much more sense out of it than that. And I think that the cyber stuff is basically another element to that overall agenda of ultimately recreating the systems. To what end, I don't know, but I do think that there's a lot going on, and I think that it is a little frightening. But yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. And the quick Apex thing, I'm pretty sure that the light paper for Apex Fusion drops on Monday. So apparently over 1,000 of you followed the Apex Twitter account since yesterday so far. And they even sent me a message. They're like, dude, we doubled on Twitter. That's insane. And so, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a big deal. And I know I've been reading all the comments. Like, I haven't seen you that excited since you were first talking about Cardano. I know. And I had to stop the video. It's why I didn't do the page segment at the end, and my head was hot. I was like, and it sucks that I can't really talk in detail yet, but I am definitely looking forward to breaking things down. And there are probably going to be a series of videos where I'll go over Cardano news and what's going on in Cardano. And then the second half will be going over what's happening in Apex Fusion. And that's going to become my channel. Do you think we bottomed out on ADA? I'm not 100% sure, to be quite honest with you. I don't have the chart up. It looks like it's possible because ADA's been, even when everything was dumping, ADA was kind of steady. and it would go down a little bit, go down a penny and go down a penny while everything else was dropping pretty hard. And now it looks like a lot of the metrics are saying, that we might be reversing on Cardano, and maybe we get the first big bull Cardano pump, but I still don't necessarily think much is going to happen till the end of this month. I really don't. I think we're going to channel down throughout this month. And then we might get a reversal. Maybe the reversal comes a little earlier, but we'll see. So that's it. I just wanted to kind of go over some of this stuff today, put a few thoughts in your heads, and just say sayonara for the weekend, folks. Go out and do something. As I always say, get out there and be somebody. Yeah, until next time, guys and gals, thanks for joining me. Crow your coins, and I'll see you soon.